My name is Fortune Ismail. I am the founder and executive director of Somali American Women Action, SAWAC. We're located in the largest mall, in Somali Mall, in Carmel Mall, and we have our other location area that we do the classes. And Fireboard is the other part of that. We do a big classes of the Somali community. In Somali, we pretty much teach the classes by East Africans. There's some Latinos, there's a Somali, majority of them are Somali communities. And the reason that we started this program is we have seen the needs of the community, especially the Somali mothers who have a lot of language barriers, like I can name it, it can be transportations, it can be a language barrier, it can be mother who is a single mother who is actually a breadwinner of her family. She's a household who's actually running the whole household. So seeing that and struggling for them to find employment, we thought about building and creating some kind of skills that they can gain in order for them to be independent or start their own entrepreneur. So that's what we're doing it, and we have different classes within the Twin Cities. So the main thing that right now we're here is to have a bigger space and more resources that we can help them, because right now we don't have enough space to teach the classes. We have instructors, but then we lack of spaces and we lack of resources. So in order to do that, we need your help to implement these ladies, these women who are struggling for anything that will be helpful as far as helping them space or resources. So that's the main point that we're here today.
My name is Leslie Mallory. Hello, committee. I am one of the sewing instructors. I grew up in Lakeville, which was a teeny town of 2,000, so Faribault was huge when I was a kid. It still is. When my brother from LA came to visit recently, we drove to Faribault to go to the cheese caves, and he said, "Wow, I've never seen so many headscarves." And I said, proudly, that's because we have a huge diaspora of Somali people living in this state, and Faribault is one of the areas that they've congregated. And it made me realize that I know or knew very little of the Somali community myself. So when I saw an opportunity in a Nextdoor website to teach sewing to Somali students, I thought, what the heck, I'll give it a try, even though my sewing instructor in high school would have encouraged me not to do that. So I went to meet Fartun and Ukasha, who I call the dynamic duo. They are just an amazing pair working on the behalf of Somali young people. They introduced me to Somali tea. They invited me to a class that Susanna teaches, and I saw that there was a need to start a weekday class. So I went to my church and asked if they would donate space, and they would, but we couldn't keep our supplies there. So I'm limited to 4 sewing machines that I purchased that I carry back and forth to the class. We use all donated fabric from people in my neighborhood. I buy most of the notions that we need. And right now I have 5 students, and I'm determined every week to learn a Somali word, and then I teach them an English word. And this week the word was oops. I was like, oh, that's not going to work. But they it just amazes me what spirit they have and how courageous they are when I ask about their past. And how they have come to assimilate in Minnesota. They hate the winters, but they love the people. So I'm very proud to be part of that, and I do so hope that this funding gets approved so that we have permanent space, better sewing machines, the ability to buy the fabric we need, the patterns we need, and to reach out to more people than we're reaching out to right now. Thank you.
Thank you for having me here today. I'm very proud to be here. A little less than a year ago, I work for Mortensen Construction. I'm a geologist, and Mortensen is big on giving back to the community. And I got an email that said sewing for Somali women, and I just sent a return email, and that's how this got started for me anyway. So we started out with 4 sewing machines, and we had The room we were in was kind of dirty. It didn't have air conditioning, it didn't have heat, but there were up to like 18 women who came to my classes. And some of them were like 3 to 5 women deep waiting to get to use a sewing machine, so, or else to cut fabric. So we started out with basic sewing, for instance, just sewing a straight line, and that morphed into making baby quilts, because obviously you saw a lot of straight lines there. Plus it was something that people could take home and be proud of. And right now, I also taught them how to buy fabric and how to read a pattern. So to make garments, which was our first thing, was to make pajamas for children. Next, right now, I teach every Saturday morning, and right now we're sewing dresses. And right now we're just basically taking a dress that someone already has, turning it inside out, using that for a pattern. A lot of people, I know that I became successful when the amount of women that came each week grew, and also that people started bringing things from home to repair, to fix, or to sew themselves. And so we've also now started a knitting class as well. I'm not involved in the knitting class, but I just want to say that it's not, I feel great when I come back from teaching and from doing this work. But it's not about me, it's about them. And I really, really urge that if you could help us get a better facility and put some more money into the patterns and the fabric and the notions and all the things that we really need, just table space alone. A lot of this I've tried to subsidize myself, but I would really appreciate some help from the community to do this. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Again, my name is Okasha Dekani. I am the executive director of FREO, an East African-led organization that's working in Minneapolis, especially in the Somali Mall. I am here today in front of this committee as a father, as a brother, as a husband, as a son, and as an ally. I am here to testify and support the House File number 2684, which is to support the Somali American women in entrepreneurship and economic empowerment, while it aims to provide support to the Somali-led women ventures and help barriers that prevent them, to be an economic, champion. One thing I've realized is that these are women of color. They have been in these communities for a long time. Some of them are new Americans. They have been faced by many barriers. They are thriving and achieving, like any one of us in this room today. They are creating their own breakthroughs, and they need a lasting support that can support their endeavors. They are once a refugee women who have gone through a lot, who have endured years of pain in refugee camps, who have been faced by many barriers that include language, transportation, and childcare services, a lot of things when it comes to getting into the U.S. workforce. Some of them have no high school. They speak little English to no English. They are single mothers living in shelters. They are in every sector. And on top of that, they try to thrive. They try to achieve. They try to have the dream and at the same time bring a bread to the table. So what this House File 2684 does is it will give them a space and more resources where they will learn the sewing and apparel construction. They will learn the entrepreneurship and business. A lot of time we complain about having minority-led businesses in our communities. Construction and trade, a lot of Somali women, not only Somali, but a lot of minority and East African women are not introduced to the construction and trade. We have partnered with Goodwill and St. Paul College to do our first cohort of Somali American women constructors, which Somali American Women Action Center will be in a better position to help us thrive in that. So Maya Angelou have one time said, people will forget what you have done for them. They will forget what you say, but they will never forget how much you make them feel. I urge every one of you to support the House File 2684 so that these women can create their endeavors, they can thrive. This is a legacy that has been started by Representative Karen Clark after she visited the sight of these women. It's a legacy that will remain in each one of you's history.
It's more than 60% in the East African community. The individuals who are in the workforce are women. They're the ones who, most of them who came here with young children. So if you look at the numbers, there are more women in the workforce, especially in the East African, than the men. So this is an opportunity to send a strong message that the women in the community really matter, and we can provide them the support they need. Thank you so much, Representative Daniel, for bringing this bill forward.